Chapter 14. Our Struggle for Freedom. Bharat was a very rich country in ancient times. It was known as the Golden Bird. The Europeans were attracted by the great wealth of Bharat. They earned good profits by trading with Bharat. Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese sailor, was the first to discover the sea route to Bharat via the Cape of Good Hope in AD 1498. He landed at the Calicut on the west coast of Kerala. This opened the doors for the Portuguese and they started trading with Bharat. Soon, they had a monopoly over the spice trade and amassed huge wealth from Bharat. After the Portuguese, the Dutch of Holland, the French of France and the British of Britain also landed on Bharadia shores. The British East India Company. A few British merchants formed a trading company called the British East India Company in 1600. Emperor Jahangir granted permission to the company to establish trading centers in Bharat. The East India Company established permanent trading centers in Bombay and Madras. After the death of Aurangzeb in 1707, the British and the French began to fight for control over Bharat. Their warfare continued for 50 years, lasting till in 1757. The British East India Company finally emerged victorious in the tussle for power. The French were installed to Pondicherry. To maintain their monopoly in Bharat, the East India Company quickly turned their trading centers into forts. They started to keep armies to protect their trading wares. Nawab Siraj-ud-Daulah of Bengal did not like and fought the British in the Battle of Plassey in 1757. He was, however, defeated in the battle by the British army led by Robert Clive. Later in 1765, Robert Clive fought Mughal Emperor Shah Alam in the Battle of Buxar. The British were victorious in this battle as well. After these two battles, Bengal, a rich province in those days, was taken over by Company Saka along with Bihar and Orissa. Expansion of the British power. Hereafter, the British started conquering other parts of Bharat. Gradually, Bharat then was divided into many small kingdoms and their kings were busy fighting with each other. The British took advantage of this and using their divide and rule policy, they conquered nearly the whole of Bharat. They signed many treaties with the kings and in the name of giving them comforts and pensions, annexed their kingdoms. Lord Dalhousie introduced the policy of doctrine of lapse to take over various kingdoms. According this policy, if a king died without a direct heir, his kingdom would be annexed by the British. For instance, Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi was not allowed to adopt a child to become the ruler of Jhansi. Under this policy, many regions of Bharat came under the British rule. This injustice caused unhappiness among the Bharadia, be it the kings or the Nawabs, the farmers or traders, all were unhappy with British rule. There were a number of revolts in various parts of the country from 1816 to 1857, but these were suppressed by the British. At last there was a mutiny in the year 1857, which was known as the Revolt of 1857 or the First War of Bharadia Independence. The Revolt of 1857, in those days the British East India Company was called the Company Saka. The plight of Bharat under the British grew from bad to worse as the British levied heavy taxes on the Bharadia, forced weavers to sell their cloth to them, and compelled farmers to cultivate indigo so that they could use it to dye cloth in Britain. Many Bharadia industries and crafts were closed down under the order of the British East India Company. A wave of discontentment and unrest blew over Bharat. The British had become rulers of Bharat. Lord Dalhousie, who became the Governor-General in 1857, aggravated the matters further by introducing more changes in the company Sarkar, which made the people of Bharat agitated. In 1857, the Bharatiya rose up against the British. This was the first war of independence. This revolt is called the Revolt of 1857 or the Sepoy Mutiny. The British had recruited many Bharatiya soldiers into their army. These soldiers saw the British ill-treat Bharatiya. Angry with their lot, they revolted against the British rules. The Bharatiya soldiers marched to Delhi, where they declared Bharatiya Shah Zafar, the last Mughal emperor, as their emperor. The leaders who supported this revolt in different parts of Bharat included Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi, Nana Sahib, Tantia Top, Begum Hazrat Mahal and Molvi Ahmed Shah of Oudh. The main cause for the revolt was the use of a new cartridge that the British introduced for Enfield rifle. These cartridges were believed to be greased with animal fat. This hurt the religious sentiments of the Bharatiya soldiers. They protested, and the revolt that spread like wildfire shocked the British. All the Bharatiya leaders fought bravely, but were defeated. After this mutiny, the British rulers realized that they could not hold on to Bharatiya with Company Sarkar. So Bharat was made a British subject, and Queen Victoria of England was declared the Empress of Bharat. The revolt of 1857 started the chapter of Bharat's struggle for freedom. Fact to know: Mangal Pandey started the revolt at Meerut near Delhi by firing the first shot on March 29, 1857. The revolt spread over large parts of northern and central Bharat. National revival of Bharat, the struggle for freedom in Bharat, is the story of great sacrifice. It took us about 90 years after 1857 to realize the goal. After the initial failures, the countrymen started analyzing their weaknesses and problems. They began to think of the cause that had made them slaves. They began to think of the social evils that had made them so weak and miserable. It was the time of national awakening for the Bharatiyas. All classes of people, thinkers, reformers, scholars and businessmen began to think how dark days could be ended. The feeling of self-pride and self-respect developed in Bharatiyas. Their love for religion, society and culture increased. Now Bharatiyas became very intellectual. With the opening of school and colleges, people got higher education. Some people started speaking English, so the people of different regions came in contact with each other. They began to understand each other. The starting of railways and other means of communication also brought the people near. Our social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, Narain Guru, Swami Dayan N.D., Swami Vivekananda, S.N. Banerjee, Dadabhai Nauroji, Firozisha Mehta, G. Gokhayal and some other reformers played an important role to awaken the people. They started a number of movements to reform the evils that had crept into Bharatiya society. Some of them started newspapers to educate the people. They also tried to attract the attention of the rulers to the problems of the people. There was other who formed organizations to fight for their rights. All these factors made the countrymen conscious of their position in their country. They began to think that freedom from the British rule was the only solution to their problems. They began to oppose the policies of the British government. There was great unrest and dissatisfaction in the country. Indian National Congress. In the year 1885, a dynamic person named A.O. Hume formed an organization called Indian National Congress. The main aim of this group was to peacefully interact with British government and make them aware of countrymen's problems and difficulties. They also demanded from British government that more educated Bhartiyas should be allowed to hold offices in government. Congress organized different sessions of the organization every year in different parts of the country. The first session was held in Mumbai under the leadership of W.C. Banerjee. Educated middle-class section of Bharat gave their wholehearted support to Congress. Congress leaders like W.C. Banerjee, S.N. Banerjee, G. Subramaniam Iyer, Dadabhai Naoroji, Gopal Krishan Gokhale, Badaruddin Tayabji, and many more were known as moderate leaders. They were so called due to their soft and compromising approach towards Britishers for putting forward their demands. On the other hand, were another group of leaders who had different approach towards the situation. They believed that strong language, violence and daring actions would teach Britishers a lesson. Leaders like Bipin Chandra Pal, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak belonged to this group and were known as extremists. Bal Gangadhar started a paper called Kisariyad that carried thoughts and policies that were strong and revolutionary. Day by day, Britishers were finding it difficult to suppress the demand of freedom. Britishers started creating differences between Hindus and Muslims. They started practicing the policy of divide and rule. Their first step towards dividing Bharat was to divide Bengal into two parts, East Bengal and West Bengal. In 1905, East Bengal was having the majority of Muslims and West Bengal had the majority of Hindus. The Swadeshi movement started at the same time. The aim of this movement was to boycott the foreign goods and use only Bhartiya goods. They burnt British goods at various places. People started picketing at the shops selling foreign-made cloths. Women also participated in large number in Swadeshi movement. In the end, Britishers declared the cancellation of the partition of Bengal in 1911. The movement against the partition of Bengal led to split in the Congress in 1907. The extremists left the party. They started a mass movement to achieve total independence. The young men were ready to make sacrifices for achieving independence. They were called revolutionaries. Revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh, Ram Prasad Bismil, Chandra Shekhar Azad, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, Jatin Das, Ashfaqullah, Subhash Chandra Bose, Sukhdev, Rajguru, B.K. Dutt and many others joined the struggle and laid down their lives for the motherland. Vinayak Damodar Savarkar founded the Abhinav Bhatt, an important revolutionary organization. Lala Hardayal founded the Gadar movement in 1911 in America to free Bharat. Madame Bikaji Kama helped the revolutionaries from Geneva. Khudiram Bose threw a bomb in a carriage to kill a judge. He was arrested and was hanged. He was just 15 years old at that time. In 1914, the First World War started. Bhartiya soldiers helped the British in this war. But after the war, the British rules adopted a stricter attitude towards the Bhartiyas. They made several laws to curb the freedom movement and enforced them on the people harshly. During these days, a great man joined the freedom movement. He was none other than Mahatma Gandhi. He is called Bapu out of love by all of us. His full name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. With the joining of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi in the Congress fold, the Congress became a mass movement. Gandhiji gave a new turn to the freedom movement. He believed in truth and non-violence. This movement was called Satyagraha. He led a number of movements for the freedom of Bharat. Now you know, Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese sailor, was the first to discover the sea route to Bharat in AD 1498. In 1600, the English East India Company established its first trading centre at Surat in India. A policy named the Doctrine of Lapse was introduced by Lord Dalhousie. In 1857, a revolt started against the British in Meerut, which is also known as the Sepoy Mutiny. The Indian National Congress was formed in 1885 by A.O. Hume. Britishers tried to divide the Bengal. The government had to cancel this when the Congress started the Swadeshi movement. At this time, Gandhiji appeared on the political scene of led the freedom movement. Keywords: monopoly, control of supply of a product or service by one person or organization. Mutiny, revolt to fight against an authority or government. Cartridge, explosive material for a rifle. Suppressed, put an end to forcibly. Boycott, refused to have dealings with Swadeshi of one's own country. Heir, a person who inherits and continues the work of a predecessor.